Hey friends, Shayla here, and let's have a little chat. So recently, as you saw by my previous video, there's been a lot of discussion about demographics and how they're treated in manga publishing and all those kind of things. And again, this video is not here to dissect that entire situation. What I wanted to talk about is, are demographics that important in Western manga reading? That's how it got to the right readership, essentially. But over here in the West, where most of us end up familiar with things via recommendations or through research of our own, are demographics as important as publishers make them out to be? Now, what I want to say is there are a lot of series out there that I feel like are in different demographics than their actual target audience. A good example of this is something like A Bride Story. I think that would make a beautiful option in the josei category. You have to complicate my life, Kat? Really? You're a bum. Anyways, shifting things a little bit here. Anyways, A Bride Story. If no one had told me it was a seinen, I would have assumed it was a josei. Because there's definitely some adult themes within the manga, but I don't default to a seinen manga when I read it. I don't think of it as a seinen because my previous experience with seinen had been, you know, things that were full of toxic masculinity or a ton of graphic violence and things. And those aren't things I particularly love to read. So seinen is typically a demographic that I haven't dabbled in too much, but recently I've found things like A Bride Story and After the Rain and Sweetness and Lightning that are all seinen, and I had no clue. I thought they were shoujo and josei series because they're sweet and light and I really enjoy them. But clearly that line has gotten blurred over in the East, and so that line is visibly blurred here in the West. I feel like in Western culture, guys automatically assume that anything that is shoujo and josei is just gonna be a fluffy romance, which is not true, and the guys who have explored shoujo and josei have learned these things, but a lot of guys who have never tried it assume that that's all it is because that's what they've heard from people. And assumptions about demographics should never be assumptions we believe. I'm trying to make sure I word everything I want to in this video. I've read plenty of shonen that could easily be shoujo, and I've read some stuff that I thought was shoujo but was shonen. Ancient Magus Bride is a prime example of that. I thought all along that it was a shoujo series, but as I was going to make recommendations for my recommendation video I just made. So yes, I was doing research for my previous video about shoujo recommendations for male readers, you know, shoujos that I like that I thought a male audience would like. There are things within them that the guys would be drawn to, like the sports panels in Waiting for Spring and some things like that. And I was going to recommend Ancient Magus Bride because it is like really low on the romance radar. And I found out it was shonen and I was blown away. I'm like, this is a shonen? And that's happened multiple times as I've been exploring and reading manga. I've discovered things are in a different demographic than I thought they were in. So, do demographics really matter anymore to us readers? For me, I don't care so much about the demographic as the content within it. And for me personally, I do favor shoujo and josei series just because I tend to enjoy the content within them a bit more than most shonen and seinen. Now, I'm not saying here that all shonen are battle shonen. I'm not saying anything like that. There are plenty of shonen that are not battle shonen. Shonen and battle shonen are easily confused together where people make those assumptions. And again, a lot of people assume that all shoujo is high school romance, which it's not. So there's a lot of assumptions in Western culture about what's in certain demographics in manga reading. And I feel like it's our job as reviewers to help break those stereotypes and to help people learn to look for the story more than the demographic, which is part of why, you know, after I've read more josei, because I haven't read a ton of it, once I've read some more, I want to do a similar video where I recommend josei series that I think male readers would also enjoy. And I've been getting recommendations of things to try from males and females of a variety of different demographics. And there's a fun project that I'm going to be doing with a friend coming up. No, I'm not going to say anything else about that because I don't want to spoil anything, but I want to break the stereotypes of demographics. I think we all want to, especially after recent things being said. And yes, again, we're not dissecting that in this video. That's not what this video is about. I have decided to not address all of that on this channel outside of my recommendations, my shoujo recommendations for male readers. There's a brief summary of all of that. I didn't even really dissect it there, but that's the only place I'm really going to talk about it outside of this video as well. And I really hope that the publishers start to see that the reasons that people are buying more digital or buying more physical are because that's kind of our options. If they gave us more options, I think things would balance out a little differently. I'm not forcing anybody's hand here. And I'm not going to tell them what to do because I don't work in publishing and I don't have all of the stats. I don't have all the numbers. So I can't tell anybody what to do or how to feel about it. All I did was I went and filled out the survey and did my part, and I will continue to do so regularly to help promote titles that I am passionate about. So, all that being said, I hope with all my heart that you, as manga readers and as my followers, subscribers, whatever you want to call yourselves, my geek out crew, whatever you want to be, I don't even care what you call yourselves. I hope you all will take a minute and maybe step outside your normal demographic and try something you might not normally pick up. If you want more specific recommendations to your taste, feel free to DM me. You can DM me on Twitter or Instagram. I have those open. You can DM me there, and I would be happy to give you specific recommendations for your taste. If your taste doesn't fall into anything I could possibly recommend, I have other friends in the community that I can get recommendations from for you and help that kind of come along to get you into a point where you're maybe reading something new. And again, I have my previous video linked as well for you to check out because there are 14 series that I talk about that I think anybody should read. I think they're amazing, and I also have my manga playlist linked down below because that manga playlist has every series I've talked about. Some of them are seinen, some of them are shonen, some of them are shoujo, and some of them are josei. They are all over the spectrum, and I love and adore all of them. I never recommend something that I don't enjoy to you guys. You know that. So at least I hope you know that with as many of you watching me as there are. I hope you know that I'm always going to be honest and tell you exactly my thoughts and feelings on whatever I'm reading, whether it's good or bad. And I usually try to point out anything that could be triggering to people and all those kinds of things. So again, all those recommendations are available to you, and I really hope you guys will try to break the stereotype and break the mold and try to make a change in the publishing of what we're getting. There are lots of licenses out there that we haven't gotten physical publishers for it. I know people are very passionate about that. For me, I would rather have a license that's digital than not have it at all. That's a personal opinion of mine, and I know that that differs from some in the community. So I wanted to say that I'm just grateful we get as many licenses as we do. Of course we want more, and of course we want more of them in print. I'm not going to shy away from that because I do want those things. But I'd rather have it digitally than not have it at all. I was actually discussing this with my husband a couple nights ago. For those of you who don't know, I've lost sleep over this. I've been so stressed. I had so much anxiety even posting that recommendations video because I was afraid people were going to come at me. I'm still kind of afraid they're going to come at me after this video. But I feel like I need to talk about it. I was talking to him about it, and he brought up the whole thing about how people were illegally downloading Naruto dubs and episodes. And because of that, publishers listened, or, you know, people here, companies listened. I think it was Cartoon Network, right, hun?
Yeah, it was Toonami.
Yeah, Toonami ended up picking up Naruto because so many people were wanting Naruto. I don't think the same thing's going to happen in manga publishing. I don't think if you're out there reading scans that they're going to automatically bring it here. If anything, they're going to be less prone to bring it. So I will never condone reading scans. That's a personal thing. I feel like we need to support what we have, whether that's digital or physical. If we support what's here, they're going to bring what we want. If we keep trying to bypass the system, we're never going to get it. And yeah, I hope I articulated my feelings well enough to you that don't necessarily look at the demographic when you're looking to pick up a manga. Look at the story, look at the art. Just like with a graphic novel, those aren't necessarily like demographicked out other than superhero and not superhero. But, you know, if you're going to pick up a graphic novel, you're going to look at the art style. You're going to look at, you know, maybe an author or artist that you know you love. And that's how manga should be. It shouldn't matter what demographic it's in. It should matter the art and the story, because those are the things that are important. You can find deep, meaningful stories in any demographic you're reading in. You just have to know where to look. And as I said before, if you want specific recommendations to your reading taste, I'd be happy to do that. I've done that with manga readers for books and vice versa, and I've helped people find some things that they've really loved and enjoyed. So, again, anything you say in the comments, please make it respectful and kind. I don't ever want my channel to be a place for people to come and lash out and attack people or publishers or anything like that. That's not what I want from this video. I've been working harder at reading more shonen and seinen mangas because there are some that I genuinely love. I just have to figure out what my brand of those things are. And the more you read into a demographic, the more you'll find your niche, you'll find your brand, you'll find your types of stories you love. And I encourage all of you to do the same and go on the same journey. So, again, I know this has been a huge, long ramble. I hope by the time I've edited it that it all makes sense to you. And thank you so much for checking out this video. Again, please keep everything in the comments very kind, and please no lashing out at anyone, especially each other. This whole discussion has gotten to toxic levels, and I don't want that for this community. This community has been so loving and accepting of so many people. Sorry, I'm trying not to cry. Because I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I feel like I have to. I feel like I fit better in the manga community than I do in the book community. I feel like the manga community are my people. And those of you who have come to this channel since I started talking about manga probably see this light, crazy, spazzy lady in front of you, where some of the people who started out with me saw me change over the last couple of years. This fall, I will have been on this channel for 4 years. And I've grown a lot. I've gotten more comfortable behind the camera. I've gotten more comfortable with expressing myself. But I've also gotten more comfortable with what I'm reading and what I'm consuming. And part of that is manga. I've only been reading manga about 2 years now. And I feel like it's changed me in a way that's positive. So I want to keep this place that is so special and so sacred to me with all of my friends just that way. This happy, peaceful place on the internet where people can come, have a good time, laugh at the crazy lady, get some recommendations, and go about their day. That's all I ever want you guys to get from this channel. That's all I ever hope to do. I just want to share the love and share what I'm reading, and whatever happens beyond that is wonderful and great. So again, I hope this all makes sense. I know I've rambled on for a long time now. So Once it's edited down, we'll see how long it is. But I love you guys. Again, please keep everything kind and respectful, and I'll see you later.